Voting in Denmark is different than the US. In the US, they have two houses, the houses of the representative and the Senate, and a third election, choosing the president. And in the US, the president is the head of the state and the government. In Denmark, these roles are carried separately by the Queen and the Prime Minister. The separation of powers in the US are the legislative, which consists of the Congress, which is the House of Representatives, and the Senate, and the executive, who is the president. The President Obama has an important role to fulfill. He has to make sure to inform people and bring decisions on the US as the US president, especially the US as a role model, as it will represent the entire US population. There are presidential elections every 4 years in the US. And finally, the judiciary, which consists of the Supreme Court. The House of Representatives consists 435 members, sitting for 2 years until midterm elections. Each state has 2 senators, who present of a total of 100 members in the Senate. Those who are chosen to sit on the Senate are for 6 years. In each state, the voter must vote for a representative who elect the president. So in every state, the candidate with the most votes get all of the votes, which means for the other candidate or party the votes, which means all the votes for the other candidates or the swinging states. This state, the election campaign is more intense than the other states. When the president is elected, he must choose his government, which must be approved by the Congress. The Supreme Court is elected. The Supreme Court elects 9 Supreme Court judges, which sit there for life, or they go only by volunteering. If the president has the opportunity to fill the space, Supreme Court judges must also be accepted by the Congress. The judge also have the right to reject laws if he believes it contradicts the US Constitution. The US presidential election in 2012, it was a choice between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, the 2 most popular candidates in the election campaign. The US presidential election in 2012, it was a choice between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, the 2 most popular candidates, and covered by the media. In the map, we can easily assume that Mitt Romney would win the election, as the majority of the country's state have the color red, which Mitt Romney's party, the Republicans. But since the size of the population and not the size of the state that determine which votes are valid in the end. Each district votes for 1 representative. The number of districts depends on the population of the state. For example, California, the most is split into 53 districts, which means it has 53 representatives. Do you want a new star? Do you want more influence in your future? Do you want to be here? Do you want to be important? In the year 1849, Denmark got its first constitution, and that constitution makes to divide the power so everyone would be treated fair and equal. The constitution divides the powers into the legislative and the executive. The legislative is the parliament, which is the politician who pass the laws that people must observe. The parliament consists of 179 members, 175 from Denmark, 2 from Greenland, and 2 from the Faroe Islands. The government is responsible for ensuring that the law is adopted by the legislature. The Queen must sign all the laws before they take effect. However, the Queen has no real power. The Queen must also appoint the Prime Minister and the ministers who are in the government. In Denmark, we have indirect democracy. The people vote for a candidate who represent them in the parliament. The politicians who get in the parliament make decisions on behalf of the citizens. If people were unsatisfied with the politicians who sit in the parliament, they can replace them at the next election. Not any political party can get in the parliament. There is a border that says you should have around 2% of the votes nationwide, which means you need around 80,000 votes to get in the Danish parliament. There is a border says that you should get around 2% of the votes nationwide. That is around 80,000 votes. The last form, the court is an independent system that neither parliament or government have influence on. The court consists 15 supreme judges and 15 who are elected by the parliament, which are not members of the parliament, to ensure getting a fair judgment for everyone. A judge cannot be fired. For the election in 2011 was between the president of the Social Democrats, Helle Thorning-Schmidt, and the president of Denmark's Liberal Party, Lars Løkke Rasmussen. The election ended by the win of the Social Democrats and supporting parties. Do you want to go to the hospital without worrying about money? And do you want to be heard no matter how small you are?
So, you want to be happy. We certainly want you to be. Then the Danish democracy is the way to go.